And so please describe to me what the aesthetic look is exactly.
Well, like this guy here.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and bring
Oh wow, you really have to come in here? Is this
No,
is this really happening? You met the other guy behind you, bro. Like I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm right into that bad boy.
You can stay right there, behind the camera, behind the camera. No, see now you got me jealous now.
That's okay.
That's not
so
fair.
You're more in the category like Luther Rickner, Arnold, okay?
My man.
Okay.
Yeah. Arnold Ferrigno. Huh?
Okay.
Aesthetic. That's great, partner. You two ever go out place everything in its proper place?
That does not make sense, but we usually do go. We head to Kroger's, and we work.
Oh, yeah. I've got a lady waiting for me back home also. She has the most beautiful scrotum. Oh, God. And when she sings, she sounds just like a puppy dog. How do you nail a photo?
Just gotta get in the mode. You gotta talk with your eyes.
Talk with your eyes.
Talk with your eyes. You
Okay,
gotta
so
have the eyes.
can you show me a little bit of something, like to this camera? I would love to know how to do this. I just want to know.
Well,
How
I
do you do it?
mean,
Teach
the
me
smile,
something.
You can get the sexy eyes. Then you gotta get the smile. Smile going on some shoes, but
Wait, hold up.
You got it.
I gotta
when it's
try
time,
this with you.
when it's
Hold
time
on.
to laugh,
I gotta try this
you gotta
with
think
you.
of something funny and start laughing.
Do it again. Do it again. How do you do it? Teach me.
Sexy eyes.
The sexy eye.
Just a sexy eye right here.
Smizing?
Smile.
So you're smizing.
Smile.
Okay.
And then you gotta get the.
No,
the
I look like
Abby.
I need to take a poop or something.
Each words were like little toy guns. No sting, no hurt, no one, just a bang, bang. Right?
Is that it?
Yeah, it's something like that. Just a bang,
Toy
bang,
guns.
rolling off your tongue.
Toy guns.
It's no smoke, no
Bang, bang.
bullets.
Water guns. All right.
Pascal, you are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up weekdays. Catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Pascal Show. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Time to wake y'all asses up. Man, it's Friday. It's Friday, as I saw somebody in the comments. Stacy was saying it is Friday. Man, am I happy that it's Friday? Hell to the yeah. I am very happy that it's Friday. I hope you guys are all wonderful, having a fantastic Friday morning. If you're having a good one, send some love all the way up on this feed right now. Hit that like button. Show that love. Show all of that love. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button. Don't forget to do that for us. And if this is your first time checking out this show, crush that subscribe button. You know what I'm saying? We working hard out here in these streets. You know what I'm saying? I got my brothers in the house. We got David and T with me in the house. Yeah, yeah. I'll stop rhyming, I swear to God. What's up, y'all? How y'all feeling today?
Yeah, man, I'm pretty good. I'm ready for Saturday, though, so I'm glad it's Friday, but it's been a busy week. I'm sure it has. What?
You're ready for Saturday? How? What?
I got a lot of work to do tonight, so it's not really a day off for me because I always I always request my checks on like the last day of the month, so I have to have all my work in before that, which is tomorrow. So I still have some more to do that I haven't gotten to yet.
Gotcha. I feel you. Well, I mean, here it is. It's still the weekend, or it's still you get through the work day and then suddenly it'll be the weekend for you, right? Yeah. So, I mean, on a positive note, it's still the weekend, technically. You know what I'm saying? I know you got to work. You got a bunch of work to do tonight, but at the same time, I'm sure you're going to have some fun tonight. At least something. At least do something fun, man. Shoot. You know what I mean? That's terrible. I don't, that's not fun, Just going, oh, well, I just can't wait for Saturday. Damn. Because Saturday comes and then you only got Sunday. You see what I'm saying? Because Sunday, then you usually I feel like a lot of people are just dreading that Sunday is going to be like, it's just getting like prepped for the day.
Yeah.
For like Monday, you know what I mean? Prep for the work week. So really, you're not really going like, yeah, I can, rally, bro. You can't really do that because it's Sunday. I mean, I know some pros out there, though. There's some pros out there that could do day drinking and all that, wake up on Monday and act like nothing happened. You know what I'm saying? And do just fine on a Sunday because some people like to day drink out here in these streets. Okay. I can't do it. I personally can't. You know what I mean? It's like if I do any type of heavy drinking of any sort, I'm done for the week. I'm done.
I feel you.
I'm done. I'm good. My body does not react the way it used to, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I mostly don't drink anymore. It's a lot harder on the body than it used to be.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? You the next day, yeah, you might have had a good time that night, but the next morning you're going, what the hell did you do to yourself? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just saying.
Any experiences like that, T?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just last week I did in Miami. So.
Yeah, we had some fun.
We had a good time.
Exactly.
We had a good time.
We had a great time. But yes, it was one of those things where it's like, One and done. One and done. One and done. So yeah, I feel you.
I haven't had that many shots in a long time. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Well, it was a celebration, my brother. You know what I mean?
Celebration.
It was a celebration. We had to. You know what I mean?
Inauguration. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Absolutely, man. But yeah, man, I'm happy that everybody's on. You know what I'm saying? For those of y'all who are starting to file in, thank you guys so much for tuning in, being a part of the conversation. Good morning to every single last one of y'all. Of course, we're going to be jumping into some serious stories. There is something that was breaking. Shout out to, I got to scroll the comments all the way back to the beginning because somebody by the name of, oh no, it disappeared on me already. Damn. There is a comment that somebody made, and now I don't know who said it, and I feel bad. But they commented as soon as we had the link up that we were going to be going live soon. I'm scrolling up to see if I have it on this other screen real quick. But this computer can be sticky as hell. Napoleon said, "We got to talk about this situation that happened in Minnesota." I guess there was some sort of thing that happened. I can't really say much right now as far as the word, because, the sooner we say something, the sooner they knock us down and all that. So I got to be careful. And T, you got to be careful with those words when we start telling the story. But apparently there was a vicious, violent crime that recently happened, I guess overnight, in Minnesota. And we got the story for you guys. Of course, it's not in the title because we only found out about it right when Napoleon jumped on and said, by the way, you need to cover this. And we just found out. So we will be covering it and talking about it today. But we also have a viral video from Kaufman County of a cop arresting an 18-year-old black girl. This video has gone viral. We will be talking about that. We will be going into a discussion about Scarlett Johansson and her suing Disney/Marvel. Okay. And then, of course, we're going to be going into a gang of other stuff like a Baltimore love story. It's a tale as old as time. And it's a video that you don't ever want to miss because it's insane. So we got a laundry list of stuff for you guys. So buckle up, sit back, and let's get ready to get into some of the news. For those of y'all who are starting to file in, send some love, hit that like button, send the love all the way up if you will. That would be greatly appreciated. We got to go into this main story today. This is something that came out a couple days ago, and it's been going super viral. And it is a video of a black girl getting arrested. And it's the weirdest. It is the weirdest way to get quote unquote arrested. Okay. But this woman this young girl was allegedly running in front of cars. And this cop felt obligated to arrest or detain this young woman. And it turns into a terrible, frustrating viral video. Let's take a look at it.
Why you don't have to ever hit her? She was making a okay?
You need to back up. You need to back up. Do not touch me. Back up. Back up.
Shut up. Just calm down. Calm down. Hold on.
You can talk to her.
Okay.
Cannot touch me.
But you can get up. You don't have to do her like this.
She's trying to jump in front of me.
No, she's not. Please. Kaya, calm down. Kaya, calm down. Kaya, calm down. Just calm down, okay?
Now, for those of y'all, we're going to be cutting this up bit by bit. But for those of y'all who don't know who this woman is or what's going on, her name, the 18-year-old girl, her name is Nakia Trigg. OK, and allegedly she was out walking around in the neighborhood. There were some 911 calls that were allegedly saying that she was jumping in front of these cars. This cop comes up. Of course, he's answering to this 911 call. He goes out, tries to speak to her. He thinks that she is possibly mentally thinking about doing something heinous to herself. You know what I mean? The S word. And she instantly says, I can't, he instantly says, I have to detain you. We do have that footage. I'm going to show you guys the rest of this video, but I wanted you guys to see this or hear a little bit more as we continue here. This woman right now, right here, is her mother. So the mother comes up to intervene. She's the one holding Nakia's hand right now. They're calling her Kia, but she's the one. The mother is holding her hand right now. Let's continue.
Just let her get up. Like that. Kaya, calm down. Kaya, just calm down. Okay. Just calm down. Just breathe, Kaya. Just breathe. Her, please. She's what? Y'all is on her. Where y'all? It's 102 degrees out here. Okay, breathe. She cannot breathe. She's spitting up. They don't even fucking care. What are you going to do? No. She hasn't done anything. No.
We'll turn her over if y'all back up.
Okay. But what are you going to turn her over for?
Now, like real quick, we're going to go back to this, but this is the strangest. I understand that this is like a Brazilian jiu-jitsu move, the way this officer is on top of her. But this is the strangest position. This is the strangest position, in my personal opinion, to try to detain someone, especially someone where it is just a mental health situation. This is not somebody who's being violent. This is not somebody who is wielding a deadly weapon. This is a woman that allegedly is having a mental health crisis. And he is on top of her in such way, in such fashion. It is the strangest thing. We're going to continue, but don't you see that? Don't you feel that this is kind of a weird position to be at? It's kind of strange to me, but let's continue.
She's literally just walking. Bro, pissing me off. She can shut up. Bro, stop it. Okay.
We got the report.
Look at her mouth.
Okay, listen.
Okay.
If we can restrain her, we'll stand her up and she's fine, okay?
Okay, Mama, I'm telling you.
Okay.
She's not.
Okay, well, let us get her restrained and safe.
Literally foaming from her mouth. She's literally foaming.
Do you see that? Foaming from the mouth, spitting out, etc. The way he's positioned on her, etc. Now, let's just say that the officer thinks that this is the safest way to be on top of her, to detain her. I totally disagree. I don't, and I feel like this could, if she is a survivor, if you know what I mean, if she is a survivor, this could bring back some serious flashbacks as well. The way she is positioned, the way he is mounted on top of her. I mean, he's straight up, it almost seems like he's in missionary position right now. It is extremely uncalled for, but let's continue. There's more.
You just let her up. Why does she need handcuffs? Wait, she didn't do anything.
If she's running in front of traffic,
She's not her mother. She's not going to go anywhere. She cannot breathe. Just stand back.
rolling over.
Why are y'all about to handcuff her?
Just hold on.
She has not done anything. And then you are on her all up. I need your fucking badge number and your name. Record his fucking shit. Please do. Calm down, Kaya.
Just calm down. Everything's okay.
It's easy for her. Like, girl. He know that. He didn't give a fuck.
Hold on. If y'all hold on.
Please put that camera back on, up here on your chest. It was never on you in the first place. Why was that camera not on you while you were on? Yeah.
And look how he's sitting on top of her like he just like took down a bear. I'm sorry, just the way this whole thing, this whole video so far, it gets worse, by the way. I'll just say that. It gets much worse here in a second. But what drives me nuts is that notice everything, the position, the body, how everything is sprayed, how he's splayed out, how he was splayed out on her. The mother is there. She is saying, I'm the mother. Why couldn't they just go, okay, Nakia, hey, here you go. You're going with your guardian. You're going with your mother. Everything's okay. Hey, is everything, does she have any history of mental health issues, etc.? They could have done so many different questions right here, but they did not. They did not. Oh, it gets worse. Let's continue.
Oh my God, we finna report all that. All of that. You had to report all of that. Please do. We finna report all of that. There you go. You're fine. Where his shoes? Can you hold this? You didn't have anyone to wrap out. Give here. I'm not talking to you. Let go of him. Let go of him. Jay, stop! Jay, stop! No, sir, please!
Bruh,
sir,
really?
please. Okay, stop! Okay, sir, please! Please! Put your hands up, please!
Now, really, the other cop has to show up with the taser, pointing at these people who are doing nothing wrong, absolutely nothing wrong. This is really how it's going down right now. We really making these decisions like this. My boys in blue. The woman, the mother of this child, who I'm seeing right now, Strategic just said something. I'm going to throw it up here really, really quick. He says, it is customary to handcuff emotionally disturbed people who threaten to hurt themselves, but that doesn't excuse anything else he did. They might have to fire him and put him on the registration. I could not agree more. Here it is. I understand about emotionally disturbed human beings, etc. But at the same time, the mother was there. And the mother's sitting there going, I'm here. She's holding her hand. She is being there for her child, saying, hey, I'm going to do everything I can to calm my child. But you are also arresting my kin. You're arresting my seed. Then, I don't know what happened, but as they're starting to take her to the car, which in my personal opinion, fine, handcuff her, stand her up, try to find out what the heck is going on, and talk to the mother. The mother hopefully shows proof, identification that the mother is actually the biological mother of this mother or legal guardian, and you set the woman free. But no, they wanted to take her to the cruiser or to the squad car for whatever reason they needed to do. The mother goes over, seems like she may have touched the officer's shoulder or back or something, and he snapped. Next thing you know, now she's being arrested. Let's continue the video.
Please. He took his damn camera out. Look at you. Jay. Get out. I'm not scared. It's all right, Jay. It's all right. It's all right. It's gonna get handled. It's gonna get handled for sure.
Back.
It's gonna get handled for sure.
Mama, stay calm. Mama, stay calm. Stay calm. When I got here, this camera was stay calm. Stay calm, Kaya. All I did was ask him. My daughter couldn't breathe. She was foaming at the mat.
It's all right. I got it all on video.
And now it's all over the internet. Now we all have seen it. Okay, we have seen this in all of its glory. And of course, there's a lot more to this story than just this. I'm going to show you guys a couple more things, like some of the news coverage of this particular video that has gone viral. A lot of people are talking about this to a great extent, and understandably, there's a lot of people that feel some type of way about this particular situation. Now, when it comes to this, we got to take a look at this particular article right here. There's a lot of people that have questions about what the hell happened and what is going on here. Okay, so here it is. Let me make sure you guys can see this a little bit bigger than me. All right, so here we go. So, a Kaufman County Sheriff's deputy has been placed on administrative leave pending an investigation on a viral video. CBS 11 first reported on Wednesday, July 28th. The sheriff's office has released 911 calls and body cam video of the incident in Forney's showing the moments leading up to the deputy mounting. It's coming from them, not me. Mounting a teenage girl who authorities believed was wanting to do something heinous to themselves. Okay? Says here in a 911 call, says there's a lady, young lady, African-American lady that is walking in the middle of the street. A 911 caller said she's thrown herself out on the road. Looks like a possible incident, if you know what I mean. Another caller. Deputy Marlin arrived with his body camera rolling. He goes up to her and says, "What's wrong? How come are you crying?" He said in the video. "Why are you here?" Trigg said. "Just to talk to you, make sure you're okay." As they walk, he puts his hand on the 18-year-old Nikaya's Trigg's shoulder, then grabs her arm. She says, instantly, she says, "I don't want you to hurt me," she said. He says, "If you keep pulling away, I got to put you in handcuffs, though." Okay, one more time. "I don't want you to hurt me. If you keep pulling away, I got to put you in handcuffs, though." Then there's a scuffle. His body cam falls off. Trigg is heard saying, "You're hurting me already." He says, "Sit down, okay?" She says, "You're hurting me already." It appears Deputy Maryland's body cam fell off during the struggle and fails to capture the rest of the incident. This is about the time when Trigg's family arrives and starts to record what's happening, as they should have. So, the Kaufman County Sheriff's Office and Deputy Marlin said Deputy Marlin used a technique on Trigg that they teach. So that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu move that he was using, where he was literally mounted on top of her, is something that they teach. She was eventually handcuffed and led to the deputy's cruiser. Now, we already know the rest because we saw the video itself. All right. Now, there was a video in here. Pardon me, guys. Hopefully of course, there's got to be an ad. Now, there is a video in here that shows a little bit more of the body cam footage, right? Of the actual incident, where the first encounter where Deputy Marlin and Trigg, or Nikaya, actually meet and speak for the very first time, up until the actual scuffle. So let's take a look at this.
Understanding of everyone. First tonight at 10 o'clock, we're getting a little better understanding of what led up to these moments in this viral video, including that North Texas Sheriff's deputy, an 18-year-old, and her mother. Aaron Jones looking at some newly released video and the response from the teenager's family tonight.
There's a lady, or a young lady. She has thrown herself out in front of the road. Looks like a possible suicide.
The 911 calls started coming in.
Here it is.
What's wrong? How come you're crying?
Deputy Marlin arrives, his body cam rolling.
Just to talk to you, make sure you're okay.
As they walk, he puts his hand on
Seems
18-year-old
nice so far.
Nikaya Trigg's shoulder, then takes her arm.
I don't want you to hurt me.
Away, I got to put you in handcuffs, though.
He continues to try and calm her down and reassure her that he doesn't want to hurt her.
I mean, clearly, in my personal opinion, clearly you can see that this woman is not okay. She's dealing with some stuff. Whatever's going on, she's not happy about something. All right. But she's also terrified, given the fact that there's such a stigma attached to police brutality, attached to police and excessive force on black men and women out here in this country. I don't blame her for being a little bit terrified. I don't blame her for being a little bit nervous. She's an 18-year-old girl that's allegedly going through something internally, and then suddenly 5-0 show up. Yeah, that's going to heighten some things. That's going to make people feel a little nervous. Let's continue.
Trig gets very emotional. It appears Marlon's body camera falls off during the struggle and fails to capture the rest of the incident. This is about the time Trig's family arrives and starts to record what's happening. The sheriff's office says Marlon is using a technique here on Trig that they teach.
Now, we already know the rest of the story. We already saw it, etc. We already saw the video. But at the same time, this is what we have so far. Okay, everybody? Now, of course, this officer has been put on administrative leave. He is now chilling in the cut, paid leave. He's basically on paid vacation. And this is what's going on, y'all. This is what's going on. This is what we see with our own two eyes. Of course, I want to throw it around to the fellas, hear their thoughts on this situation. To me, this is a messy situation. The way that the cop is positioned on top of this woman, this young girl, looks very sus to me. Extremely suspicious, very suspect to me. This is something that they teach. I understand that it is a jiu-jitsu move. That is a hold. It does exist. But to me, this is real sketchy, y'all. This is real sketchy. I'm going to, one of y'all wanted to say something, so speak up.
Yeah, I was going to say that, so I was looking through the Kaufman County authorized moves. I didn't see that move in there. The fact that they're teaching it doesn't necessarily mean that it's an authorized move. It's not on their public. It's not on their public guidelines. So unless it's a private one, even though they're teaching that hold, it's not an authorized hold to actually use. And I mean, if you look at it, you can see why. She could have bit him, spat in his face, kicked him in his junk, flipped him over pretty easily. He was in a bad position to hold somebody. And on top of that, yeah. And on top of that, he's stretching her arms out and sitting on her probably lower lungs or diaphragm or something like that. You can kind of see it. That's probably why she starts spitting up
at the mouth.
yeah, because basically she can't breathe, so it's just fluid buildup in her lungs. Because you can see how he's pressing pretty much thrusting his pelvis into her stomach.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it looks like it's weird, and I'm sorry to say it like this, but it seems like he's in completion mode. It's weird. Yeah. Like he's pressing his junk against her. That is awkward to me. And like I said before, if you got somebody who is a survivor and has dealt with abuse in this kind of form, this could trigger some serious stuff. Real talk. But David, continue.
Yeah, so I agree with that. This cop in particular, the young, he looks like a young one, probably. He's not even 21 yet. It's hard to tell. He looks really young. But either way, I mean, you see the other cop come up, and he's basically trying to get him off because whatever he's doing is stupid and not helpful. So he's just trying to get him off so that they can actually turn her around and control her if there's a problem. Because I don't know, he's just strangling her and kind of thrusting into her stomach. He's not actually doing anything useful. And so the cop tries to get him off of her and, gets her in an actual position where they can control her with allowing her to breathe. And then again, it seems like this young guy, once they're walking, the mother gets too close and she doesn't hit him. I think she like tapped him or something. It's hard to tell how quick it happened. And he just straight up tackles her against the concrete.
He goes after her like a ravenous dog, y'all. Like a ravenous dog. And the thing is she could have been trying to touch her daughter to give her some physical affection, to tell her everything's going to be okay. You don't know what was going on. You see what I'm saying? And she may have tried to touch her shoulder and accidentally hit the cop. That could be possible too. And then the cop just got triggered. You know what I mean? He's like, get her! Oh, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? But continue, David. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I think honestly, they're just kind of covering up for this young guy who was just an idiot the entire time. Because at least this white officer seems to be like disappointed in him. We don't get to hear the other officer, the black one, really speak. At least I didn't hear him speak.
Mm-hmm.
But at least this guy right here that's like talking to him right now seems like he recognizes this kid's being an idiot. And he is. I don't know. I don't know what he's planning to do here. I don't know. It does seem more just like a form of suffocation and kind of sexual harassment than anything that would be useful whatsoever. Not just as a police form of grappling, but any sort of grappling in a real fight, in a competitive fight, and actually arresting somebody. His position doesn't make sense whatsoever in any of those circumstances. It's degrading, and it's also ineffective. And I really think this is a case. I mean, I'm not saying that the other police haven't influenced him, but I think this is a case of just a young guy out there thinking that he's supposed to be beating up all these people he sees causing problems on the news. Basically, I think that's what this kind of situation is. But I don't know for sure.
Mm-hmm. T, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, like most of you, or all of you, really, it's just really hard to watch this video transpire. It's hard to see a young girl who was going through a situation emotionally and mentally not get the proper care that she needs at that moment. It seems like he just put more gasoline on her fire. He made everything worse. And when you're touching somebody who doesn't want to be touched, they're going to react in a way that's going to be in self-defense or a way where they're trying to elope. So him being extra aggressive, his whole tactics and style of handling this, this should be used for future trainings nationwide on what not to do, because it's really that bad. He made everything worse. He really did, and it just like you guys said about his whole position. It looks very sexual or degrading, or it's horrible. I mean, if she was a high school student and he was like the security or the school police, he'd get fired for that, because that looks so sexual and it's just not proper technique. There's no way she should be allowed to be on her back that long with him on her stomach and sternum, and she's spitting up. I mean, automatically should have had her on the side, on recovery mode or position, to have her breathe, and the other cops should be telling him, like, I got this, get off of her, I'll handle it. And it's not. The mom is there trying to help. She kind of makes it worse at times, where she's like cursing him out because he's acting even worse, unfortunately. And he has no excuse me, he has no ability to emotionally handle himself properly. So everything's pissing him off, everything. And then later on he tackles the mom because he's already pissed off at her from probably intervening. It's just this cop was on the force way too early. He needs to probably be on desk duty and made to go through the academy again, because this video, his attempt to help her, this sucks.
Yeah. It's pretty bad. You know, this whole video is pretty bad, and what needs to be done. Yes, you could tell, like, that dude a rookie, or unless he just found the fountain of youth. This is a young man, young cop, probably doesn't have a whole lot of experience under his belt. And I just feel like there needs to be a better way. There needs to be a better way of approaching these situations. There needs to be a better way of approaching mental health situations, so that it doesn't turn into these full-on scuffles, these overblown moments of misunderstanding, or moments of lack of sensitivity towards somebody who's dealing with something. Now, I understand that there's the what some people are saying, like, hey, this is the standard procedure. This is just what is done. This is how they take care of it when it comes to somebody who is wanting to do something heinous to themselves. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's like, all right, I get it. I get it that you need to do your thing. I understand that there's common procedure, but there's also a human level to this that needs to exist as well. This situation could have been easily been quelled just by them standing her up and saying, is this your mother? Okay, well, she had an issue, so on and so forth, blah, blah, blah. That's it. But everything kept getting worse and worse and worse. Things started to escalate over and over and over again for no reason. Like I've been saying over and over again, there needs to be a better way on how they approach mental health situations. Because yes, I get it. We don't have the world where we have social workers going on these particular calls. We don't. We don't have people who are specialized in mental health going to those specific calls. The cops are just sent out to those things. Then those cops, I feel cops do need to have more training in regards to those things, because a lot of these issues, a lot of these situations that do happen where a person is losing their life is all because of the lack of training and understanding that's coming from the man or woman that's in the blue, in the uniform. There needs to be more of this. There needs to be more understanding of what's going on here. Not this whole BS of, oh, we got standard procedures and all that. That's fine. I get it, standard procedures, but we have had so many times, too many times, of people getting killed due to a misunderstanding or lack of training from the people who are supposed to, quote unquote, protect and serve. And the other thing is I want to say this, though, too. I'm not knocking police officers. I'm not saying all police officers are bad. I'm not saying that. And it seems as if that cop was doing what he was trained to do. But it shows you what's going on in the people that are above them as well, that are writing out the curriculum, that are writing out the guidelines, that are writing out what is okay and what is not okay to do, how to approach a possible civilian, how to approach a criminal, when to protect yourself, when to use deadly force, etc. But then why aren't they writing in that book or in that handbook what to do when you're approaching somebody that is dealing with mental health issues? What is the proper way of approaching them? Because right now we're not getting social workers showing up like that all across the country. Right now we don't have that. We don't. So we have to look to our boys in blue, men and women in blue. We do. I feel like this one, among a plethora of other examples out here that have gone super viral, should wake the police department up and make them realize that what's going on out here needs a little bit more TLC and a little bit more attention on your training. So videos like this, we don't have to see. And worse videos like this that we have seen. It's just something to think about. It's just something to think about. Like I said, my heart and prayers and thoughts go to that family, the Trigg family, or Nikaya's family. That is, she didn't have to go through that. That made, and the other thing is like, the other thing you got to put into play here at the same time is that imagine what's going on in her head now. Let's just say she was going through some mental health issue, because it's all alleged. She could have just been anything could have been possible. She could have just been some kid being stupid. You know, she could have just been, hey, I'm gonna run in front of cars. I don't know. People do weird things. Shoot, there are people out here doing Tide Pod challenges and stuff like that still to this day. So, you know, people do some dumb things all the time. But if she was allegedly trying to do something to herself, and that happens, what do you think what kind of effect do you think that's having on that young woman? Think about it. She was already in the dark. She was already down the dark rabbit hole of depression. And then she is physically assaulted, mounted upon, quote unquote, you know, sexually assaulted, I'll say the words, while still being in this dark place. You don't think that what just happened to her is not going to have a lasting effect or double down her depression? Like I said, there's got to be a better way and a new approach to handling these situations that happen all the time. More than ever now, we are dealing with a pandemic, everybody. We are still dealing with it. Things are rising and dropping, and people are getting angry and saying that they should or shouldn't be doing this, and whether to wear this and whether not to wear this. There's so much stress going on every single person right now. More than ever, the police department needs to look into these things even more on how they train their police officers when it comes to a situation like this, because we have a lot of them. I got a super chat from Strategic. Thank you so much for the super chat. And by all means, you can steal this story, put it on your show. I read that comment. LOL as well. Anyway, great show today. Not all cops are bad, but we need to hold the bad ones accountable. This cop should be fired. I absolutely agree. And by the way, Strategic is a cop. We agree on this one now. Yay. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, this cop should be fired. How he was approaching it, what he did, definitely not right. Most definitely not right at all. I hope one day 5-0, the police department of America, or whatever they call it, decides to look into this situation and actually do something. Get off they dusty asses and actually rewrite their handbook and figure out what is the right way of doing things, how to approach certain situations, and doing it the right way. This was the wrong way, y'all. What we just saw with our own two eyes is most definitely the wrong way. Anyway, we got to jump into the next story. This one's a little bit lighter. Thank you, Jesus. Oh, my God. We got to go into this next story here. Scarlett Johansson, y'all. Scarlett Johansson is suing Marvel, a.k.a. Disney. I mean, bruh. This is a very interesting one. Why, you ask? Because the situation, the reason why she's so upset is, I mean, it does make a little sense. It does make some sense to me. Let's take a look at this, shall we? Now, Scarlett Johansson sues Disney over Black Widow streaming release. Okay. Star alleges simultaneous release of the latest Marvel movie in theaters and on Disney Plus service was a breach of contract, y'all. A breach of contract. I got a little bit and David's got a little bit. We're going to be doing a back and forth little thing, tag teaming this story here. Black Widow has a new enemy, Walt Disney Co. Scarlett Johansson, star of the latest Marvel movie, Black Widow, filed a lawsuit Thursday in Los Angeles Superior Court against Disney, alleging her contract was breached when the media giant released the film on Disney Plus streaming service at the same time as its theatrical debut. Now, real quick, before we jump in further into this article, read a few more paragraphs. Here it is. I'm sure within her contract, it's all about the sales that she gets from the theater, from the theatrical release. You see what I'm saying? Like, she gets paid a certain amount. Like, a lot of them have these clauses and these agreements that they get paid in the back end, right? They get paid a couple mil to be in the movie, but then they really make money at the back end of the movie. You know, it could be movie sales, merch, etc. And that's like action figures, T-shirts, posters, you name it, all of that stuff, y'all. All of it. All right. But one of the main things that they really do make money off of is the theatrical debut. You know how they go, oh man, Endgame gets broke records, $3.4 billion worldwide, so on and so forth. These actors are making some of that money too. Now, the thing is that with the theatrical debut of Black Widow, it bombed. It freaking bombed, yo. In the theatrical debut, a lot of people, like myself, ended up buying it. A whole $29.99. I'm telling you, that stuff is expensive on Disney Plus to watch this movie. Now, here it is. Some people think the movie's trash. Some people thought it wasn't so bad. I wasn't the biggest fan of it, personally. I think it was not the greatest out of the many Marvel movies that have come out over the years. I think they could have done better. I thought it was a little watered down. And in my personal opinion, I'm more than happy that I just watched it on my telly rather than going into a theater and sitting through that. Like I said, there was 3 separate times where I looked at my watch. I'm not kidding. That's how much I didn't like this movie. Okay. And I love ScarJo. Okay. I think she's great. She's great looking. I think she's very talented. She's great as Black Widow, but I just thought that movie wasn't so great. But anyway, so I can see why it wasn't as a popular move to go and see it in the theaters. Let's be real. We're dealing with a thing going on right now. You know what I mean? We're dealing with a bug floating around here, etc. So we got a lot of stuff that we're dealing with that maybe people aren't so keen about going into a theater because they're worried about having to dodge that Rona. Okay, so let's move back on into this article really quick, and then I'll throw it over to David. Miss Johansson said in the suit that her agreement with Disney's Marvel Entertainment guaranteed an exclusive theatrical release, exclusive, and her salary was based in large part on the box office performance of the film. Exactly what I just said. Okay, Disney intentionally induced Marvel's breach of agreement without justification in order to prevent Miss Johansson from realizing the full benefit of her bargain with Marvel, the suit said. Okay, now I'm going to throw it over to David because there's more to this story. But like I said before, ScarJo is literally suing Disney for her movie Black Widow. The other question is I have to ask before I throw it over to David is, for spoilers, she already dead. So, she ain't got nothing to lose, really. Her character's already dead. I'm just saying. Spoiler alert. Sorry. Man, if you don't know, then you've been living under a rock for like 4 years. But at the same time, though, she already dead. They brought her back from the dead to do this movie. Doing a movie from a prequel kind of thing.
Oh, right. She did die in the Avengers. Okay, yeah.
She did.
Yeah, she fought off.
She did.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
She did, man. She did. So, maybe she's just kind of like, hey, man, I'm going out with a bang. I don't care. You feel me? David.
Yeah, so I've been following this one for a while. This is a movie I had been looking forward to about 3 or 4 years ago. And it's unfortunate it took this long to get it out. But I am actually going to start there just because it's part of why I think it failed. So obviously, most people that were huge fans of Black Widow kind of wanted that movie around the time Winter Soldier came out, which was the second Captain America movie, I believe. And it was obviously she was a big role in that. And that's when people really, really wanted her to get her own movie. And a lot of people were actually angry she didn't get her own when they came out with the Marvels. Or Miss Marvel, or Captain Marvel. Yeah, Captain Marvel is what it was called. So when they came out with that, a lot of people were angry that she didn't get her chance there. And Scarlett Johansson kind of said some things. She didn't say she was angry, but she kind of agreed with that like, why did I not get my movie beforehand? And why did this movie kind of take her place? And we were already going into this where Black Widow was a highly desired film about 5 years ago, but there isn't really that much of a demand for it right now. And that is part of what caused some of this profit issue. Her contract was originally signed before the epidemic came out. So her contract had absolutely no say on Disney streaming because Disney Plus had not yet decided to release theatrical films online at the same time. And that is a big part of what her lawsuit is about, because her agreement was only for box office profits. So she got her initial pay, but all of her, all the extra money she would make from the royalties, that comes only from the box office release and possibly the DVD release down the line. She gets nothing from people paying to see it on Disney Plus, however. Disney keeps all that money. And as Pascal mentioned, it was like $30 to see it on Disney Plus. Well, I went and saw it in person for $7 because it's how much it costs to see it in person. It was much cheaper, but that also like messes up her income, obviously. So basically, what happened was on the first week, it made about $60 million, and then that was pretty low overall. It was the highest pandemic release, but it was the lowest Marvel release overall. Marvel movies have typically hit $1 billion and by the end of their run, and for the most part have reached about 200 to 400 million in their first few weeks of running. So that didn't happen with this movie. They got 60 million from the streaming in the first week, and they got a little over 100 million just from the U.S. streaming in the first week. But then it dropped off considerably, and it was only like 23 million at the theaters the second week. And Disney Plus stopped releasing how many people paid for it, which made people assume it was a huge loss there as well. And so basically what we're seeing is that from the start, Disney has been screwing over Scarlett Johansson. They ended up keeping her movie delayed for so long that it became irrelevant. And I think you already spoiled it. She died at the end of Avengers. This movie should have happened before she died. And another thing that made people angry with this movie, and this isn't really a spoiler because you already know she dies, they kind of show her gravestone at the end as like this calming moment to like kind of wrap it all up. But instead of letting you enjoy it, they start tying in the next Marvel movie already. So they already forget Black Widow by the end and start setting up the next movie. She was also angry about this. So it's very easy to see why she wants to sue them. They constantly delayed her movie, promoted people that were new to the franchise instead of well-liked in the franchise. They made this deal, which they did not renegotiate when they changed the release pattern. And basically, their choice to put it on Disney Plus allowed her to lose massive amounts of money because it was also pirated day one. Perfect copies were pirated day one. Like I said, I saw it at the theater, but I could have just downloaded it day one if I don't want to pay anything to see this movie. That's part of the problem with the Disney Plus release. You don't even see this with HBO Max releases. They do wait longer, and that's part of the reason why. So the actors and the people who made the movie get their full profits, and they screwed her over in multiple ways. Yeah, so this doesn't surprise me that she's suing them, and I actually do agree that the box office would have been much higher if Disney Plus did not decide to release the day of. I do think they would probably made at least another 100 million. They probably wouldn't have hit their numbers that they really wanted, but it would have done much better, and Scarlett would have made much more money. But what we're seeing now is because they decided to release this movie so late, and because word of mouth about the third act kind of caused damage to its popularity as well. That's why there's that huge drop off. So there's all these issues combining that you can blame most of them on Disney for pretty much screwing over the film and her. So yes, I perfectly agree that they should be sued. Disney cost her massive money, and arguably it cost the movie a lot of the income that it would have otherwise had. And lastly, like I said, as far as respect goes, it seems kind of like they disrespected the Black Widow character and Scarlett Johansson by kind of ignoring her for this long, despite the demand. So she's been treated poorly by them. And obviously they're using this movie more to set up next movies than to do anything else. So she's got a lot of reasons to sue them over this one. They pretty much turned what should have been her kind of like core project into this like messy kind of experiment that didn't really work out in any way. Obviously some people have liked the film, but word of mouth has hurt it a lot. And that's why they do attribute the most of the loss to. However, like I said, it probably would have made about 100 million more at least if it was not on Disney Plus.
I do agree with that. Then on top of that, you got to put into consideration that you got a lot of actresses aren't getting paid as well as some of these other actors, the male actors that are out here. maybe they thought that they knew that this movie was going to flop. Maybe they thought that was going to be the thing, that not enough people were going to go see Black Widow or something like that. I don't know. It just, to me, seems extremely, like, it just seems so strange to me that just seems strange to me that they just put this out and they breached their contract. They breached their agreement because I guess they wanted to make sure that they could secure the bag either way. I don't know. I feel like there was a lot of people that would have gone and seen this in the theater with or without this situation that we're dealing with. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I saw it the first week, and it was packed. It was packed. And I haven't seen the cinema packed since 2019.
Yeah.
This was the first time I saw it packed, was the first week of release for Black Widow.
Yeah. Like, you know, and it's so crazy to me. But T, I want to hear your thoughts on this. What do you think, man?
Well, this reminds me of the athletes who, especially in the NFL, where the contracts aren't guaranteed, and after they have like a contract, you know, they start complaining about wanting to have the contract redid after the annual salary goes up. And, you know, there's always this big debate about, are they underpaid or they get paid enough? So for Scarlett to kind of step, you know, into that similar zone of, fighting the actual contract that they signed, it's interesting. You know, she signed the contract. You have lawyers to help you out, read the fine print, know what you're actually going to get. And it's interesting, you know, to see that someone's, this is happening outside of sports. At least publicly, in this way, with a top, you know, movie star as her. I mean, she's been around for a long time, since Home Alone 3, you know, back in the 90s. So she's an epic star now. So it's interesting to see how this is going. Funny enough, some of the top stars like Tom Cruise and whatnot, Denzel, like they get like $25 million a movie or whatever it may be. Then they get like 5% of the gross net from the gross sales from the actual movie sales. So like, it's interesting, like, you know, how much power you have to negotiate and leverage. I guess she's kind of not in that ballpark yet, and she's not getting, like you guys said earlier, any of the Disney Plus sales. So she probably does have the right in some way because they are using her image, but I'm not sure of her actual contract and what it actually said. But also a few other things I want to mention is you guys were talking about like the quality of movies coming out, and I think with Captain Marvel and Wonder Woman, especially the second one, they were just horrible films, just trash films. But like once these corporations like Marvel and Disney and so forth have such a loyal fan base, people are going to watch everything and buy it anyway. So they can put out lower quality stuff every time. And we've seen it happen a lot with entertainers. Like we've seen our favorite singers or rappers or whomever put out trash music for years, but you're still going to buy it because you're loyal to that brand. So unfortunately, you know, Marvel, you know, they're hit or miss depending on what you're going to watch, and it's hard to tell from the trailer sometimes until you actually go and watch it yourself.
Yeah, it's interesting how easily people are able to kind of like how easily these companies are basically just doing cookie cutter type of things. You know what I mean? They're just kind of paint by numbers. They're just going through the same ish, you know, instead of actually making the content unique and different. They're just going, okay, well, this last formula, you know, Iron Man's formula did so well. Let's do it over and over and over and over and over again. Instead of going, okay, let's find a different way of approaching, say, Black Widow. You know, not all of them have to look the exact same way. Not all of them have to have the same approach and same vibe. You know, I think that they tried to do, like, for example, Thor is a perfect example. They tried to do the same approach like Iron Man and like all the Marvel movies, right? And then they realized by bringing in a different director, Ragnarok was dope. Ragnarok was hilarious. Ragnarok was colorful and fun. lighthearted and just entertaining as hell. But they didn't follow that formula that they were doing with all this doom and gloom and things so serious. They changed it up. And I feel like the same thing with Black Widow, Wonder Woman 2. Not Wonder Woman, because I thought the first one was pretty damn good. But the second one, I was just like, what is this atrocity? Captain Marvel, I think one of the things that made that movie so bad was the person that was the lead. I think that's what it is. And isn't the first Captain Marvel black? Am I correct? Isn't it supposed to be the right? Yeah, I think the first one is. Yeah, the main one is supposed to be black, and she actually is showcased in the new Scarlet Witch and Vision, whatever, Vision and Scarlet Witch or whatever the hell I don't know the whatever they call it, but you know what I'm saying. So those. Go ahead, David. What's up?
I was going to say, actually, some people were mad about. Quite a few people were mad about the fact that they used the Carol Danvers character, because Monica Rambeau is pretty much the popular one, just the one that made the comic successful. She's a Black French person, and so a lot of people were actually angry at that show, Scarlet Witch versus, or whatever it's called, Scarlet Witch and Vision, because basically. Where's I going with this? Kind of lost myself.
You're good. That there was the Rambo.
Right. So that was actually a thing that was calling for boycotts, because in Vision they showed basically Monica Rambeau came in, but she's basically like she gets her powers from, I think, Carol Danvers. Like she's kind of the secondary character. Like they're making her subjugate to Carol Danvers. Except that that's not how it is in the comics whatsoever. So a lot of people were mad about that, because Monica Rambeau is kind of the one that defines the character, and they refuse. And they pretty much, instead of her being the one that shows Carol Danvers what to do, they switched it so that Carol Danvers shows her what to do. So a lot of people were mad about that one, because they basically took the most popular version of Captain Marvel and one of the more popular black female characters, and decided to go with the white girl instead. So obviously a lot of people are angry.
Then on top of that, people do not like Brie Larson at all. So on top of that, to add insult to injury, or to throw Tabasco sauce in an open wound, they decided to go with Brie Larson of all people. And a lot of people hate that ass. A lot of people do not like her. So on top of that, I think that if there was a little bit more of a charismatic actress, white or black, to play that character, I think that would have been helpful too. But the thing is that even with this Black Widow movie, if you've seen the movie, I'm not going to ruin anything for you guys. Some of you guys will like it. Some of you guys won't like it. I was teetering in between. I'm more leaning towards I didn't like it at all. Like I said, I looked at my watch 3 times going, is this movie over yet? When does this end? And that's not even a thing of like, oh, I can't stand watching female superhero movies. No, I want to be entertained. I want to see dope ass superheroes kicking ass and taking names and looking good. You know what I'm saying? At the same damn time, all day long, all superheroes. It's just the story was not good. The villain was crap. Like I said, it was very watered down. This was like something I feel like would have been a direct to VOD, like it was on Disney Plus, or a direct to DVD, like back in the day. You know, something that's good, but it's not great. You know, but I think that it was just a situation of it's already too little, too late. You should have given her a solo movie a long ass time ago, but you did not believe that women were going to be able to spearhead and be the lead of a big movie like this and a big franchise. Yet you've seen countless times in DC, etc. They showed it that they're wrong. Wonder Woman, the first one. Let me just say that the first one was awesome, was very well done. So there's proof that a female lead can be a superhero, female-centric movie. And it could be a box office hit. But then you didn't put any time or care into this movie. Y'all didn't give two damns about this movie. And you're trying to spin off all these new characters off of this one movie. And none of them I cared about. So, like I said, there's more to this. Her lawsuit is more than just the money, I think. I think it's a matter of she's not getting the respect that she rightfully deserves. And I don't blame her. I do not blame her. She's been with them for a long ass time, and she was the eye candy. She has always been the eye candy. She had nothing. Even in that movie, y'all, she was still just kind of meh. And she's a great actress. I think the movie's called The Divorce or something like that, where her and Adam Brody. Yeah. Great movie.
Good movie, yeah.
And she acts her ass off in that movie. It's very well done. That movie's very well done. You have a very talented actress out here kicking ass, and all she's been so far is eye candy for the Marvel movies. Just looking good in spandex. So, for me, I don't blame her. If Disney said that they were going to do what they said that they were going to do, they should have stuck with it, what they said that they were going to do. They should have just left it in the theaters, then eventually put it out on demand. Like A Quiet Place Part 2. They did the exact, and has nothing to do with Disney, but they did the exact same approach. They did movies, theaters only, and then a few months later, they put it out on demand. They put it out so that you can actually buy it, rent it, whatever, and watch it at your own disclosure. That's what they should have done. Period. I think that was the last movie or most recent movie I went to the theaters to see was A Quiet Place 2. And damn, was that a good movie. But that's another conversation in itself. You know what I mean? But anyway, guys, we got to go into a quick commercial break. But when we come back, there's a lot to talk about. We do have a international brief from David, and also we need to talk about this situation that is going on in Minnesota. T's got that story. We'll be right back. All right. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.
Property managers, if you're looking for effective and humane ways to remove wild animals and deal with the damage that they have caused, we have good news for you. Introducing Wildlife Command Center, a professional nuisance wildlife management company specializing in providing animal removal for residential, industrial, and commercial clients. We are the only wildlife company that checks 70 different areas on a structure to determine the answers to the following questions. Exactly which animal are we dealing with? How is the animal getting inside the home? What kind of damage is the animal doing to the structure? Once we get the answers to all of these questions, we develop and write up an action plan to resolve the animal issue completely and provide a quote to implement that action plan. We perform a very in-depth 70-point wildlife inspection. From visually inspecting the highest point, the chimney, to physically crawling inside the attic space and looking for animals, chewed wires, fecal matter, chewed structural wood. We inspect everything. Our inspection process covers all of the following 70 points: animal-proof chimney cap, roof ridge vents, roof to soffit junctions, dormer fascia, attic gable vents, gutter lines, fascia trim, garage door, utility penetrations, water, gas, electric, and cable, bathroom vents, attic roof ridge vents, attic electrical, wiring, junctions, boxes, and lighting, concrete decks, additions, wooden crawl spaces, basement plumbing, penetrations, ceiling, floor, and wall. Wildlife Command Center's mission is to deliver the finest quality wildlife removal and pest control service that is safe for the environment. For more information, call us now.
All right. Welcome back, guys. Thank you guys so much for sticking around and being a part of the conversation. If this is your first time checking out this show, please be sure to crush that subscribe button. All right. We do this show usually at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday. We've been on a special time as of late. Okay. But please hit that subscribe button. We do this Monday through Friday. I will be on tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's 6 p.m. Central Standard Time to hang out, do a little bit of a happy hour time with you guys. So please be sure to join in. We're going to be doing a topic. I don't know what it is yet, but we will be doing something fun and entertaining. So be on the lookout for that at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 6 p.m. Central Standard Time tonight. All right. And of course, if you haven't done it yet, crush that like button. That would be greatly appreciated. Real talk. But we got to go into our stories internationally because there's a lot going on in the world. There's a whole lot going on right now. And, honestly, I got to leave this to David because he's got some stories to tell. You know what I'm saying? So, David, what's going on in the world, man?
All right, so there's quite a few interesting things going on right now. The first one I'll start off with is in Oman. So this is kind of a big deal. A company run by the Israeli businessman said that one of its ships was attacked by a suspected piracy incident. And British officials said they will begin investigating the issue. So part of the Israeli billionaire Eyal Affairs Zodiac Group issued a statement on Friday saying that the ship was the Liberian flagged oil tanker Mercer Street and was Japanese owned. At the time of the he goes on to say that at the time of the incident, the vessel was in the northern Indian Ocean traveling from Dar es Salaam to Fujairah with no cargo on board. And it was a little bit after this that United Kingdom Maritime Trade Operations said that there was an investigation going underway to investigate the incident, which it described as taking place late on Thursday northeast of the Omani island of Masira. What they have found so far is that the ship was in fact attacked, and there was considerable damage to the ship. However, there's still the UK is still leading an investigation to figure out exactly who the people that assaulted the ship were. For now, they are supporting the idea that it was probably pirates, but they don't have any conclusive evidence yet. All right, so in France, things are getting a little interesting. France's finance minister, Bruno Le Maire, has revealed that authorities are probing whether Pegasus malware had infected government devices after reports claimed that the world leaders were being targeted using the Israeli spyware. This has been an issue that a few countries have been reporting, that Pegasus has been involved in hacking within their nations, kind of like we had with the Russian group in the past. It's the exact same issue. It's just a different group, basically targeting different people. So right now, French investigators are starting to look into the security breach, which may have actually extended to the minister's own phone and private information. So he told France Radio that we are in an investigation phase, and that includes my own device. However, he declined to give any additional information about the investigation. However, France as well as Russia are now looking into Pegasus to see if that malware was intentionally inserted from Israel or if it originated in a different location. The scandal broke after NSO linked databases of more than 50,000 phone numbers belonging to government officials, businessmen, NGO workers, and journalists from around the world, believed to be a wish list of targets for the spyware, was obtained by the French media outlet Forbidden Stories and by the human rights group Amnesty International. Macron's mobile number was importantly, he's the president, by the way, of France. His number was reportedly included on the list. And right now they're doing forensic analysis to determine that some of the phones in that database have actually been infected with malware, that they have been spying on those individuals and possibly the French government itself through them. So in China, this has been an issue for a little bit, that they have been trying to crack down, especially in Hong Kong, on basically protest and issues of people either not supporting the Chinese government or supporting the Taiwanese government in any way whatsoever. So this is the first trial in China that will be happening under this new national security law. Basically, a Hong Kong court convicted a protester of terrorism and inciting secession on Tuesday. The protester, Tong Yin Kit, was arrested last year on July 1st after he drove his motorcycle around a Hong Kong neighborhood with a protest banner and then collided with police officers who were trying to arrest him because of that, injuring 3. Under the security law, which went into effect hours before his arrest, Mr. Tong could be sentenced to life in prison. The court will hand down the sentence at a later date, likely within weeks. This has initiated additional protests in addition to the protest he is being charged for, and that's what the image you see now is. There were over 100,000 people in Hong Kong protesting this arrest at some point, or the security law in general. Steve Tsang, which is director of SOAS China Institute in London, says that I think we would be kidding ourselves if we think the national security law would not be enforced in a way that the Chinese government conceived it. The idea that the Hong Kong judiciary would be able to moderate it would be a mistake. So basically, Amnesty International, the UK, and Chinese specific institutes all think that basically this will be power abused by the official government. All right, so this story takes place in space, but it's mostly about some Russian cosmonauts. So flight controllers ended up regaining control of the International Space Station because it was just recently knocked off course by a newly arrived Russian research module. This happened earlier today. And basically what happened is the Russian module was trying to connect with the ISS, and its jet thrusters did not go off correctly, and ended up impacting the ISS, which sent it out of its orbit and could potentially in time cause a crash. However, they are already in reconfiguration procedures. They do have thrusters aboard the ISS, which should most likely be able to put it back in its safe position. But they're still in the process of doing that, so hopefully no problems come up. Otherwise, the ISS might eventually crash. But it looks like they will be able to fix it. This is not the first time we've had issues with Russian craft at the ISS. Previously, one of them was the cause behind leaks that the ISS had trouble locating. According to Russia, there were 7 crew members on board, including 2 Russian cosmonauts, 3 NASA astronauts, and a Japanese astronaut. This is normal. The U.S. doesn't have our own rockets to send people to the ISS anymore. We use Russian rockets. So that's why the NASA people were there as well. But it looks like they'll have it under control, and they're still going to end up investigating the Russian docking ship because basically the ISS and the ships are moving at hundreds of thousands of kilometers an hour. So even a minor collision like this causes massive damage and will send the ISS off orbiting somewhere else. So they need to fix that and keep it from happening again because it could be much more damaging in the future. Okay, so the last story for today involves the U.S. Navy, but it is at sea. So basically, the Navy has just charged a sailor in connection with a massive fire that destroyed the USS Bonhomme Richard warship. This actually happened at the end of 2020, though charges were not placed at the time. And for 4 days, they tried to put out the fire before eventually the ship was lost and sunk. They have not publicly identified the sailor, though he's been identified within the military court-martial, which will be looking into the issue. So the blaze started on July 12th in 2020, and evidence has since been collected showing that basically there's sufficient evidence to direct a preliminary hearing in accordance with due process under the military justice system, targeting the specific seaman who set the fire. Vice Admiral Steve Kohler, commander of the U.S. Third Fleet, is considering court-martial charges. And that's what this preliminary hearing is about, basically to confirm if they would do this court-martial and if there is any reason to believe that it was committed intentionally or not. Right now, they are calling it arson after the sailor was questioned. And the fire ended up costing billions of dollars worth of damage on the amphibious assault ship. Like I said, it raged for 4 days. And this is the worst fire that the U.S. has ever experienced outside of wartime, World War II specifically. The ship will end up being decommissioned. Part of it was sunk. They're still trying to drag a bit of it out. But so it would cost $3 billion to repair it, and at this point, they're pretty much considering the ship lost due to this fire because it costs too much to fix it. They're getting rid of it, and this isn't too surprising. So there's been a lot of activity within all the Western navies, English-speaking nations in particular, sending out a bunch of their ships, and so. This is one of those ships that was eventually supposed to go to the South China Sea, but now it's going to be decommissioned. And that is it for the global news today.
Thank you again for putting in that information, man. I really do appreciate it. You know what I mean? We are talking about the world, talking about spaceships and battleships in the same segment. Look at that. Look at that. You know what I mean? But anyway, we most definitely thank you, David, for that briefing. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, you know what I'm saying, that need to be shed light on as well. And that's why that segment exists. And that's why we have somebody as awesome and as brilliant as David. Speaking of not so brilliant, though, T's got a story. I'm just playing. T's got a story about this whole situation that's going on in Minnesota. I have no idea what is really going on. So T, if you don't mind, do us the privilege, the honor of breaking it down on what the hell is going on over here.
Yeah, sure. 1 second. Okay, boyfriend arrested for allegedly beheading Minnesota woman in broad daylight. This happened this week, unfortunately. Make this a bit bigger because I'm blind. The boyfriend of a woman who was found beheaded on a Minnesota sidewalk has been arrested in connection with the gruesome slaying. Authorities on Thursday were responding to reports of stabbing in Shakopee, where they discovered the decapitated body of America Thayer lying on the ground behind a car, according to KMSP. The victim's head was nearby, and a large knife was also recovered at the scene. Alexis Severit was arrested a short time later and jailed on account of second-degree murder and Thayer's death. He remained behind bars Friday at Scout County Jail. At this time, investigators believe the suspect knew the victim, and this wasn't a random attack, said police. Friends told Fox 9 55-year-old Thayer, who worked at the Dollar Tree and My Pillow, had been in a long-term relationship with the suspect, and domestic abuse had been an ongoing problem. According to the court records, 42-year-old Sabarit was previously convicted of gross misdemeanor domestic assault. One of Thayer's longtime friends, Nikki Kendrick, described her as a soft-spoken, so funny, and always had amazing stories. She was also a Cuban immigrant who friends described as kind and hardworking. She was just truly the kindest to everyone. I hadn't met anyone as genuinely kind as America was since my late grandmother. I'm devastated. It's unreal, and I just have no words. The Shakopee police continued to investigate Thayer's death on Friday with assistance from the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension.
You know, what is really crazy is that this is a full-on story that's unfolding right now. And still, I can't even really wrap my mind around this because it's just so it's terrible to hear about somebody who is being something like that happening. I mean, it's like, how does that even happen?
Right.
You know, what are you gonna say, T?
That's tragic. You know, I don't understand it happening at all. But for it to happen in broad daylight is even crazier. I mean, how hard is it to cut someone's head off? I mean, that has to be grueling. I don't know how that can happen publicly without someone stepping in. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying.
I can't fathom I can't even fathom the idea of what we just talked about, what you just reported. I don't know how someone can literally say, I don't know. It just seems so weird to me. I don't know. Just, it doesn't make sense to me. I'm still trying to, like I said, wrap my mind around this. It's an absolute tragedy. An innocent person having their life taken in such a grisly way is so crazy. But David, what are your thoughts on this, man?
I mean, I pretty much agree with you. This is just a terrible thing. It's I'm still kind of processing this too. I didn't know about it until someone in chat told us this morning.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is crazy. I mean, it's kind of a symbol of how common and accepted the violence is kind of becoming. Because apparently, I think T mentioned this, it happened in broad daylight. And so, I mean, there were probably people around watching that didn't do anything. I mean, we still have to hear more what's really going on, but it does seem like it was targeted, and it doesn't seem like anyone tried to stop it. I mean, I can understand being afraid, but it seems like it just happened in broad daylight without anyone standing up. Hopefully I'm wrong on that, and there just wasn't people there or something, but it is a very weird situation.
It's so strange. Given the fact that you got somebody who is, I mean, it was a boyfriend. It was a loved one that actually,
I wouldn't call it that
thing. Well, you know what I mean. It was somebody you trusted. It was somebody you cared for. It was a boyfriend. Of course, that person's supposed to be there to have your back and take care of you and be good to you. How's that?
Yeah.
At the bare bones, be good to you. But for you to have your head stripped from your body outside in public is insane. That's insane. And of course we still have, it's still like it's still a developing story. I'm assuming. We don't know everything. We don't know the full scope of this story. Not saying that it should even be that we even need a full scope of this story. I mean, taking someone's head clean off of their body in public is insane. Period. There's no need for any more stories, right?
No,
but
that's
insane.
It chills you to the bone. Like I can't even think straight right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, like I said, I'm trying to process this whole thing too, and it's just so weird. And the girl worked for My Pillow and
My
something
Pillow
else.
in the dollar store or Dollar Tree.
Dollar store.
Dollar Tree, yeah.
So she must have been just a hardworking woman.
Yeah.
She
was
with a
55
trashy
years
boyfriend.
old. 55 years old, immigrant from Cuba, and I think he was 43. I think he was. Yeah. So.
Yeah, he sounds like he was a piece of trash. I mean, obviously he's a piece of trash. But I don't know. But then it's like, were there drugs involved? Were there heavy drugs involved? You know what I'm saying? Like, what else was going on here that would make someone do such a thing like that? Did this guy have a history of mental health issues? You know what I'm saying? Paranoid schizophrenia, severe bipolar disorder. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It just makes you wonder what else is going on in this story that we don't know about, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think it needs to be drugs. I mean, we've seen this happen all over the world with perfectly sober people, unfortunately. Some people are just that kind of evil. I don't know. Like I said, we don't have a whole lot of information on this guy, so it's hard to really say why he did it. But some people are just evil out there too.
Facts.
Yeah, I mean, there's a woman who was killed last week in Tacoma, Washington, I believe it was. She was a security officer, and a drunk Army Ranger broke into her job, and she was like security there. He killed her with his bare hands within 10 minutes. So people are just evil.
Yeah. The Pioneer just said something. This dude was clearly mentally disturbed, and if he did drugs, I'm sure that didn't help. But you've had crazy people for thousands, but you've had crazy people for thousands of years. The question is, why didn't society protect her? And that's the thing. Like, okay, that's a good question. How often or how much of a heads up? Oh God, that's a bad pun, not intended. But how much of a heads up was given? You see what I'm saying? Were there any telling signs that other people, her friends, her loved ones, and all that saw this situation? How much of this was? You know what I'm saying? How much of a heads up did these people get? Did they know that there was any issues going on beforehand, or is this all just like a shock and surprise for her family members as well? Were you going to say, T?
No, I don't think it even matters if they even knew. I mean, the article did mention that they had a history of violence between them. But he killed her in broad daylight. I mean, I don't think it even mattered who knew. He was going to kill her regardless. Seems like, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's it's an unfortunate situation. Like I said, I hope that they bring his ass to justice. Real talk. They better bring his ass to justice. That's all I got to say. They better bring his ass to justice. They bury him under the prison. That's what I think. You should not be able to do something like that to any person at all. And if there were any telling signs, I mean, I wish some people out here would have done something, you know, if there really were some telling signs. I just don't like, T has a very good point, you know. Regardless, though, it's like, how do you know? How would you know? You know, unless there were some real signs out here, unless there was a history out here. Oh, man, it's such a terrible story.
And what makes me think that people were seeing this, that there were people around, is that there was really no other way for the police to know that it happened out in broad daylight unless someone had seen it and called them. So I do think there were witnesses there that just watched, I guess.
Yeah, it was outside. It was out there in front of everybody, you know. I just don't. I am literally still just wrapping my mind around this. I just can't fully. I just don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It was outside. It was out in public. People were seeing this stuff, and they didn't do anything. They didn't jump up to stop him from doing said thing. They didn't do anything. It just seems extremely strange to me. Extremely strange to me. But we don't know the full story. You know, we don't know what happened. We don't know if it was something that happened so fast and everyone's mind, like people weren't processing what was going on until the actual act happened. You know what I'm saying? Like things happen so quickly and people don't process things until the deed is done. And you're like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? I mean, we don't know. We don't know. I've never seen in my own personal life someone getting decapitated. I've never seen that in my life. You know what I mean? Nor do I ever want to see that. But, you know, in my mind, I don't automatically think that it's just one fell swoop, you know, like the movies do, you know, like it's fing and then the head falls off. I don't know, you know. Like I said, this one's a new one for me. Real talk. It's a new one for me. But we got to jump into our next and final story of the day. This one's a little bit lighter. Okay. Still, I mean, it's still kind of sad because it's still really messed up because real talk, you got to, it's a relationship thing. Okay, guys. But this was a video I saw on the net last night, right before I was about to go to bed. And this thing is crazy. This thing is crazy. Take a look. It's called A Baltimore Love Story. Wait for it. Woo! Bruh. Okay, so whatever altercation is going on, whatever whatever lovers quarrels going on right now, woman in car tried to run this dude down, tried to smash him up against a building, okay, up against a home. All right, watch what he does. As you already saw a little bit, but watch what he does here. What I think is hilarious, though, is how she gets up. You think she's about to go over and start smack him in the face or something like that, throw a shoe at him, something. But instead, she's just looking at her car. She's like, oh, damn. Is there any damage to the car? Is there any damage to the house? All right, then. She goes back into her car. It continues. And he's teasing her. He's taunting her the entire time, being like, ha ha, look what you did to yourself. You know, all that kind of stuff. Let's continue. Bruh. One more time for the nosebleed seats. Like I said, goes out of her way. Literally goes out of her way to try to hit him again, y'all. Again. Okay, let's continue. Still laughing. Ooh, damn. Look at that car. Woo! Woo! Look at that car. Oh, my God. So now it didn't work with the car. So she's about to put those fists on him. Or at least try to. Wow. There it is, y'all. A full-on lovers quarrel in all of its glory. Here it is, y'all. I mean, this is the perfect example of toxic relationships and how I keep saying this over and over again. I mean, at least as of recently, because, you know, this is a new kind of segment on the show that I've been, you know, putting out and doing more lately. We all need to start taking care of ourselves and respecting each other. Not only respecting each other, but respecting ourselves. I'm sure there were plenty of opportunities in this particular situation here where that relationship could have been over a long time ago, to the point where it didn't have to turn into such thing like this, where a girl's going out of her way to ram a car and try to kill. She's literally trying to run the dude over.
Yeah.
She's thinking about death. Like I said, there are plenty of opportunities. There are plenty of moments out here in a relationship, especially when it's toxic, where there are huge red flags. I guarantee you this is not the first time that they've gotten into fisticuffs. I'm not sitting here saying that she's ran her car before. Obviously, look at the car. You know what I'm saying? This ain't, you know, I'm sure this is the first time she's done something this insane, right? This crazy. But at the same time, there have been multiple opportunities where she could have left that relationship. Multiple opportunities where the dude could have left that relationship as well. Now, we don't know what happened in the car. We don't know what was said in the car. We don't know if he put hands on her in the car. We don't know any of that stuff. All we see is him getting his stuff out the car and her trying to run him down not once but twice. Then when that didn't work out and her car's completely damaged, she gets out the car and basically starts to put her hands on him. Finally. Like I said, y'all, there are plenty of opportunities out here where all road signs, all red flags are presented in front of you in regards to the relationship that you are having with that particular loved one. This seems like everything came to a head. This seems like that relationship, maybe there's a lot of passion in the bedroom, but that passion gets clicked and dragged into life, where you got two extremely passionate people who have opposing views, opposing ideas, stubborn as F, not willing to back down, none of them willing to back down. So then next thing you know, they start losing their damn minds on each other. They start putting the fisticuffs. They start putting their hands on each other. Then it escalates because once it happens once, it's like Pringles. Once you pop, it don't stop. Once you put your hands on that person, then all of a sudden, and that person says, "Hey, it's okay, honey. I love you, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry." You are literally opening up another can of worms. You are literally opening up another opportunity for that person to put their hands on you again. You're saying that is okay. But then here it is with this particular situation. The violence escalates. At first, maybe it's a slap on the face, it's a shove or something like that. And then it eventually evolves into a car running into the side of a building. Why? Because you didn't snuff the situation out when the fisticuffs happened beforehand. I guarantee you guys, that this situation happened. Not this level of violence, but I guarantee you there was violence before this even went off. Maybe he was the one who was putting all his hands on her the entire time. Maybe he was abusing and also cheating on her, or verbally abusing her, saying all kinds of stuff. And then finally it escalates and it evolves into this moment of sheer violence. She wanted to create bloodshed. She wanted to attempt to erase this man off of this planet. Now I'm saying this, all of this could have been avoided if you just listened to the red flags, if you just listened to the signs, to those warning signs, and walked away like a gentleman or like a real lady. I'm going to open up to the guys. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. T, you haven't said much, so I'm going to throw it over to you, bruh, first.
Yeah, this is, I guess, the last two stories really, or a display of when someone doesn't love themselves enough to know when to leave a situation that's not healthy for them. It should never come to the point where someone who you once said you loved or had intimacy with, share privacy with, now you want to kill them. I mean, that's a huge drastic difference. I just feel sorry for people who are victims of any kind of violence, but especially domestic violence, because that's the person you trusted your life with, you shared dreams with, you open your heart to, your body to, your mind to, your future, everything to. No one wants to kill you. I mean, that's like that thin line between love and hate, and reality, and it's scary. It is, because all of us probably have, well, adults here, we all probably have experienced, heartbreak and tough times, but it should never come down to life or death. It should be like, all right, it's not working, gotta move on, nice knowing you, whatever. But life or death, it should not be like even a thought. That's the scary part. Those who don't have any love for themselves or any kind of balance or critical thinking skills, people who can't resolve conflict, people who can't go get therapy when they need it. It's just scary. You know, once you fall victim to somebody you have given your life to at one point.
Absolutely. I feel like, you know, what you said is perfectly is perfect. You know, it is a full on thin line between love and hate. And once you cross that line, it's really easy to cross it again. I'm just saying that. You know, we've all had crappy relationships, or maybe some of us have been lucky enough not to have crappy relationships, but we've all had those relationships that become volatile, you know, because of ego, because of passion, because of whatever, you know. And I'm not even just saying man, like relationships, like love relationships. It could be a relationship between friends, etc. I mean, once you cross that line and you make it okay, you say to that person, oh, it's okay, I forgive you, and you bring that person back. And if they don't really change their ways, you're susceptible to the same routine, the same treatment all over again, y'all. You know, this is what's so frustrating and so sad about this whole video too. Because even when she crashes the car, he turns around and taunts her, laughing and all that stuff, ha ha, and like hopping around and all that stuff. You can already see how juvenile, how immature this relationship really is. Pure fact that they should not even be in a relationship to begin with, period. If you're going to act like that, I mean, I get it. Woman almost ran you down with a car and you dodged it. You know what I'm saying? You were able to baby it. You know what I'm saying? Who threw that Adidas? Like, I get it. It's dope. Congratulations. You dodged a big ass car coming at you. But you don't taunt. You don't hop around like this is like some playground. Your life would have been taken if she was successful. You grab your stuff and you leave like a gentleman. Period. Leave like a gentleman. That's what you do. Don't taunt it so that she does more stuff. So that you are literally having a full-on scuffle in the middle of the streets while neighbors are running in to try to stop you from killing each other. That's ridiculous, David.
Yeah, this is definitely a weird one. Unfortunately, this is something we've been seeing a little bit more of lately. At least since January, I've noticed that at least a couple of times a month, it seems like there's some girl trying to run over her boyfriend. If I remember right, just last month, there was like 10 pedestrians killed because of that by one person. So unfortunately, this is a thing that happens, and it has led to people dying over this past year, and a considerable number of them. So yeah, this is just a stupid situation to be in. He shouldn't have, obviously he shouldn't have been poking her or whatever, like especially after she tried to run him over. But ultimately, I think she's going to be the one that suffers for this. I'm not necessarily sure that he ever performed physical violence against her just because of how confident she is when she's ready to chase him down and kick his ass, I guess, because she seemed very confident at that point. So I'm not sure that he's abused her before. He may have. And if you compare it relatively, she tries to run him over and he doesn't seem surprised whatsoever. But especially this was premeditated because she opened that trunk, she let him get behind it, and then she immediately tried to run him over. So this was kind of a premeditated murder attempt, and I imagine she's going to be charged for that, in addition to reckless endangerment, not to mention destroying a building. So she probably ruined her life over this. I doubt much is going to happen to him unless he actually gets run over by her. He's going to walk away because he didn't do anything illegal as far as the video shows. Even if he was taunting her, she's trying to commit murder. So he's just being incredibly stupid, I would say. And she's being a criminal. I'm not saying if he got run over, it would have been his fault, at least after that first attempt. It would have been his fault. But and that's like you were saying, that's just stupid. He's about to get himself killed. He's kind of lucky he didn't get killed. But either way, he's probably going to walk away from this. And she not only ruined her car, the insurance isn't going to pay for that. it's not going to pay for that building. So she's going to owe tons of money. She's probably going to go to jail for a while. And then she's going to leave with a felony record just because of a fight with her boyfriend. So she kind of ruined her life, unfortunately. Well, I don't know about unfortunately. She's trying to murder somebody multiple times here. So maybe she should be in jail for a bit. But yeah, this obviously just this degree of violence isn't necessary. I mean, obviously, if this degree of violence is involved in your relationships, that is a toxic relationship. That is the kind of relationship you should run away from.
Absolutely.
So yeah, yeah. I mean, that's pretty much all I have. It's unfortunate this is becoming common. I'm glad that no one was hurt in this incident, especially no bystanders. But she's pretty much ruined her life. Like I said, no matter what reason she had for that, even if he had hit her in the past, she's going to be the one that gets responsible or is held responsible because she's on video trying to murder him.
You know, exactly. I mean, she's the one who's caught doing all the stuff. Like anything else that was ever done to her is not caught on this security camera. All we see is her snapping. She literally just snapped full on snapped, y'all. And that's sad. That's really sad. Of course, if this is taken into a court of law for certain charges like attempted murder, because she literally is trying to kill this man with her car, she won't have any proof unless she's taken photos and video of past altercations with this particular gentleman. Everything's going to lean towards the dude right now because of this security cam or because of this video cam, I don't know, this house cam, ring doorbell, whatever it was, security cam footage. You know what I mean? Like I said before, we live in a world right now where no one should be messed with. No one's mental stability, etc., should not be messed with. You see something like this, and it breaks your heart because you want everybody to love everyone. You want everybody to, have holy matrimony. Possibly walk down the aisle, find that one, find your soulmate, and live happily ever after. But then you see the harsh realities of this. And the harsh reality that is being presented in front of us right here is they could have walked away from that situation, not only from that situation itself, but from that relationship a long ass time ago. Because for a fact there were red flags beforehand. Your loved one, your lover, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, what have you, would never just out of nowhere want to run you down out of nowhere. Those kind of things do pop up way before said act happens. So if you are in a relationship that seems to be toxic, or you feel like there has been warning signs, red flags, bumps in the road, etc., that have been very bad, sometimes even catastrophic, where you've even thought about what am I doing in this relationship, and you still took them back, you might want to reevaluate that relationship and leave as quickly as possible, and leave in the most diplomatic way you can. You don't leave like this. This is embarrassing. Not only just dangerous and sad, but this is embarrassing on both parties. This man acts like a child and she's acting like a psychopath. That's sad. That's extremely, extremely embarrassing. And I wouldn't be surprised if both of them were arrested at the end of the day. Like I said, there are plenty of road signs. There are plenty of heads up, plenty of red flags that pop up if you are in a relationship that is extremely toxic or violent. And I say to every single last one of you, if you are in an abusive relationship, or you are in a situation that you feel like it's not going so great, that it looks like it could go down this volatile road, I highly, highly urge you to walk out, to walk away. But please do it in a good way. Leave as a gentleman and leave as a lady. Anyway, we got to get going. I want to say a big thank you to my boys for being on today. Thank you to the fam. You know what I'm saying? It's been a really good one today. Lots of stuff to talk about. Lots of stuff going on. I appreciate you guys coming on today. Great conversations today.
Thank you.
Man, the world gets crazier every day.
No kidding, man. No kidding, man. We need to start taking care of ourselves, y'all. You know what I'm saying? We really do. Not only just ourselves, but each other, especially our loved ones. We need to start respecting each other again. I feel like that stuff is starting to just go right out the window. You know what I mean? That stuff is gone, I feel. You know? And then it's like, who would go? Who would do that? You know what I'm saying? Who would do that? Who would just drive the car?
Yeah.
What's that? Say T? What do you say?
We got to bring back the love songs. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my dear God!
Yeah. Love songs.
Yeah, you know
you don't hear it. You don't hear no love anymore. It's all the same crap. You gotta hear some love and get some soul in you.
It's all WAP and city girls and that's it. That's all it is. All day long. That's it. You know what I mean? We don't got no Brian McKnight. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got no Levert. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got no Luther Vandross. I mean, like nothing. No smooth nothing.
I'd take Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak. They're pretty good.
Yeah, Silk Soul. Yeah. I mean, they're good. They're doing something cool. They're doing something. They're bringing something into it. You know what I'm saying? But they're the only ones right now.
And also her. She's good.
Oh, her. Yeah, she dope too. But at the same time, like that's it though. Yeah. That's it though. You know what I mean? Her stuff is dope, but a lot of it nowadays, the stuff where it's like the lovey-dovey, the girls that are singing, aside from her, but a lot of it's just a vibe. It's not really. They're not really. Well, that's another conversation in itself. They're just not singing. You know what I mean? It's just on a dope beat. That's it. I'm sorry, female singers. I'm sorry, female R&B is kind of whack. I said it. I don't give two damns. I'm sorry. Female R&B is gone. Yeah, you got her, talented musician. She got talent. But like other than that, you don't have real like, you know what I mean? Oh, wait. Kiki of 5. Jasmine Sullivan is dope as hell. Okay. Yeah. But like I said, she is she can sing, but at the same time, you don't hear her as much. You hear all this other crap. And they all have to have like the circle sunglasses and they got the braids going on and you know what I'm saying, and they're all scantily clad, but they ain't singing no love songs. You know what I mean? They're not singing love songs. They're singing smash songs. You know what I'm saying? They're talking about the D. They're talking about the, you know what I'm saying, eating my groceries, like, you know what I'm saying, stuff. Eating my booty like groceries and stuff. No, I'm serious. That's what they talk about. They're not talking about the love. They ain't talking about that love. You know what I'm saying? That funky dope loving. They're not talking about that stuff. That don't exist. Even Keith Sweat, man. Dang it. You know what I'm saying? Where it at?
Yeah.
It gone.
He dead.
Huh?
You got to bring it back. It's your job.
Oh, I got to bring it back. It's my job to bring it back. See, I would do it, but I do it comedically. That's the problem. I could never literally take myself seriously, all glistening in body, like baby oil. You know what I mean? How does it feel? Like I couldn't do that. I just couldn't. You know what I'm saying? I don't have the confidence like D'Angelo. You feel me?
I can see you in like a purple sequin like suit or something going on. wide open, showing off your chest, just singing.
Yep, you know what I mean? Just you know what I'm saying? Just doing all sequency and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm done. But yeah, I mean, I would do it. I would. You know what I'm saying? I need some dope musicians in my corner. That's what I need more than anything. You know what I mean? And then I would do it. But see, like I said, I would just be laughing my ass off the entire time. I wouldn't be taking it seriously. So it'd have to be comedic. I just couldn't. I couldn't be sitting there just talking about, eating booty like groceries type stuff. I just couldn't. I just couldn't. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. I said it, but it's true. You feel me? I'm just saying, but I could see myself just comedically, chest out, you know what I mean? Taco meat, you know what I'm saying? Ah! You know what I mean? Feeling it. I'd be doing it like Prince, you know what I'm saying? I'd do it just for fun. Anyway. Okay, guys, thank you guys so much for being on. I appreciate it. Y'all are stupid. I appreciate it. Guys, thank you to all y'all for being on today. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't done it yet, please hit that like button down below. That would really mean a lot. Send those likes all the way up. Hopefully we were able to make you laugh a little bit at the end there. You know what I'm saying? And of course, hit that subscribe button. All right. If you haven't done that, we do this show Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. But as of for the next week as well, we're starting at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time until I am back in my hometown. So we got one more week of shows, and I'll be back back at the old crib. Back at the old studio. Okay. So please crush that subscribe button. Again, hit that like button down below. That would really, really mean a lot. And you know what? You're right. There's no Maxwell. There ain't no nothing. You know what I'm saying? Where at? Where it be at? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we need new stuff. You know what I'm saying? Even the Trey songs. Okay. I'll even take Trey Songz right now. Okay? Just saying. Where's it at? We need some love-making music. Real talk. Okay? But anyway, I appreciate all y'all for being on today. You guys all have been really, really amazing. I will see you guys. I will be doing a show tonight. Like I said, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't know if the fellas will be with me or not. I'll be asking them once we get done with this show. But please be sure to, of course, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and be on the lookout for our show or my show tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 6 p.m. Central Standard Time for those y'all in the Midwest. Anyway, I appreciate all y'all. Okay. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I will see you guys tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.
Homeowners and property managers, if you're looking for effective and humane ways to remove wild animals and deal with the damage that they have caused, we have good news for you. Introducing Wildlife Command Center, a professional nuisance wildlife management company specializing in providing animal removal for residential, industrial, and commercial clients. We are the only wildlife company that checks 70 different areas on a structure to determine the answers to the following questions. Exactly which animal are we dealing with? How is the animal getting inside the home? What kind of damage is the animal doing to the structure? Once we get the answers to all of these questions, we develop and write up an action plan to resolve the animal issue completely and provide a quote to implement that action plan. We perform a very in-depth 70-point wildlife inspection. From visually inspecting the highest point, the chimney, to physically crawling inside the attic space and looking for animals, chewed wires, fecal matter, chewed structural wood. We inspect everything. Our inspection process covers all of the following 70 points: animal-proof chimney cap, roof ridge vents, roof to soffit junctions, dormer fascia, attic gable vents, gutter lines, fascia trim, garage door, utility penetrations, water, gas, electric, and cable, bathroom vents, attic roof ridge vents, attic electrical, wiring, junctions, boxes, and lighting, concrete decks, additions, wooden crawl spaces, basement plumbing, penetrations, ceiling, floor, and wall. Wildlife Command Center's mission is to deliver the finest quality wildlife removal and pest control service that is safe, for the environment. For more information, call us now.